Oh, thank fuck for ginger beer.
I've never met a human being in my life that drinks ginger beer without alcohol.
Yeah.
And
well, now you
enjoys
have.
it.
You don't even like coffee, Ben.
Like,
how do you
Fuck
like
ginger
coffee.
beer
Coffee's disgusting.
Ginger
So's
beer
ginger beer.
hurts. You're drinking pain
Yes.
without even like alcohol benefit to it. Like, I like Moscow Mules, which use ginger beer. I can't drink just straight. Who does that?
Like,
Me.
100%. Like, if you were drinking to get drunk, I would understand drinking a ginger beer. I cannot for the life of me understand why you would drink a ginger beer otherwise.
Like, the way you said it, it was like it was so refreshing. It was like, ginger beer. Like, no. What do you mean? What do you mean ginger beer?
I'm parched. I'll just have a nice can of ginger beer.
Gonna
Our opening is just gonna be everyone shitting all over.
gonna
Yep.
go for a
drinking
gonna
ginger
go
beer.
for a nice 2-mile run. Oh, it's hot outside. Let me grab a ginger beer. A wonderfully quenching ginger beer.
Sports teams are going to start dunking ginger beer on top of their coaches. It's a new movement. Ben started it.
Nothing like the feeling of broken glass down my throat to quench.
This is the exact reason why I drink ginger beer. This whole fucking bit is the reason I drink ginger beer.
What do you do when you're hungry? Are you like, fucking, let me grab some like peppermint bark? Like, what do you
Fucking sawdust, Chris.
Let me eat some just wasabi right off the plate in large amounts. Like,
peanut brittle, fucking. Like,
you don't like coffee, Ben. How do you like ginger beer?
Coffee's disgusting. Ginger
Yeah,
beer is
so
delicious.
ginger beer.
I drink tea.
Ginger beer.
I drink
Ben.
tea.
My God.
Yo, ginger teas are delicious.
All right, let's start the podcast.
Welcome to Ben's Beverages every week forever.
Ben's Beverages. It sounds like they had to make a fucking like goddamn corner store on a sitcom and ran out of time. Like, that's where Vader gets his fucking juice on the Death Star on Downtime Darth. He stops in at Ben's Beverages. Gets blue milk and some fucking ginger beer.
We're gonna have a long ass intro no matter what.
You want a cup of Jawa juice?
God.
Alright.
Josh, please lead us in.
Ben, I legitimately don't know how you drink ginger beer. Hello and welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever.
Listen
This week,
here, you little shit.
Revenge of the Sith.
I would like to point out that I am behind the scenes being attacked emotionally.
Behind the scenes, it was the literal intro.
They just heard, you monster.
I don't drink Monster. That shit's gross.
Oh my God, Ben, how was your watch?
Chris, how was your watch?
That's fair.
Why are we doing this? It
Because
was fine.
I got all the saucy book details.
It was Revenge of the Sith. There's no space diners. Obi-Wan doesn't dive out of a window. And there's no Coliseum fight scene with color-changing lightsabers. So,
Last week you came on
slight
this
downgrade.
podcast and fucking said, I hate this movie. And
It's
this
a whole
week
new
you want to
world.
start
It's
something
a
again?
whole new world. It's a whole new world, Josh.
Ben, how was your watch?
Josh, how was your watch?
I watched it with Ben. It was great. Yeah, I needed some help with things. I'm home alone for the foreseeable future. I'm a terrible cook, so I invited Ben over to help me not destroy steak. And then we watched Revenge of the Sith, and it was great.
And we quoted half of it at each other.
Yeah, it was fucking
Josh-
fantastic.
Josh filmed me having unlimited power.
I meant to
include it somewhere then.
I meant to ask, and I never did, so I'll do it on the podcast. How were the steaks? Did you destroy them?
No, they turned out good. They were a little overdone, but not like burnt or anything like that. It was good. Ben can back this up, I think.
Yeah, they were a little more done than I like usually, but like they weren't bad.
It's not like I fucking destroyed them, which is an accomplishment for me.
You did pretty good with how low you set my expectations.
I just picture, like, for a bit, Josh trying to cook steaks with a bug zapper while yelling, like, unlimited power the whole time. Like,
well, I walked in and, like, there was just smoke everywhere.
Ben, how was your watch?
I watched this movie twice this week because I don't know.
Because you came over my house and I was like, do you want to watch Revenge of the Sith?
Oh, yeah, and I watched it earlier this week because I was sent to a job site for work and it was slow as hell, so I just sat in the truck and watched Star Wars.
And then later that day.
Yeah, that was the same day.
I'm like, do you want to watch Revenge of the Sith? And you're like, I don't know, that's up to you. And I was like, I guess we're watching Revenge of the Sith.
And then I finished a 13-and-a-half-hour audiobook in like less than 48 hours.
Which has been par for the course, strangely, on you. With
I was determined for this one because this was the longest one in the entire saga. And boy, howdy, do I have notes. Some of these notes are paragraphs, I will preface.
The entire movie, he would just sit there and say, I want to talk about this, but I can't because it's regards to the book.
After you read or listen to or whatever this book, there's so much in the movie that just makes you chuckle. And so the whole time I'm sitting there with Josh and I'm chuckling, and he's like, what's so funny? I'm like, do you want me to actually tell you? And he's like, no, save it for the podcast.
Which, by the way, Ben and I can quote these movies nearly word for word. In fact, the only time that Ben tripped up was on one of the most iconic scenes in the entire movie.
Oh, don't do this to me. Can we not crucify me?
No. Because you got 99.999% of the movie right, which is why it threw me off so much. The Obi-Wan monologue, he got like one word wrong, and it was so strange. Because he was so on point with literally everything else in the movie. It was actually quite impressive. Can we talk about the most sad thing that we learned by you and me sitting in and watching the movie? Get that out of the way.
Oh yeah, I inadvertently realized some kind of dicgishness on the part of the subtitlers, and I don't think it was definitely not intentional.
This was not what I was going to talk about, but continue.
Oh, okay. I actually made a note of this week. This is the only movie note I've ever made for this podcast. If you watch this movie with subtitles, when they're at the Battle of Kashyyyk, there's the one Wookiee that's swinging down the vine at the droid tanks, and he does a Tarzan yell. And the subtitles actually say Tarzan yell.
Which is like the least helpful thing.
Yeah, right after that I looked at Josh and I'm like, how the fuck does a deaf person know what a Tarzan yell sounds like?
Yeah, like, it's the most fucking... The person who did the subtitling for Revenge of the Sith was so excited about hearing a Tarzan yell that he didn't think of the target demographic that needs the help of the subtitles. It's fucking nuts. The subtitles aren't for your fucking shit posting. It's for people that need them.
But Josh, what did you want me to lead into? Because I'm totally lost here.
Ben, one of the most iconic things that we continue to say on this podcast, Ben thought was happening in another
I'm going to get raked over the coals for this one.
Yes!
For the longest time, so apparently the "ge" we've been referencing is during the battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Dooku.
Yeah, because it's the only time "ge" is said in the movie.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is, because I sat there and watched it, and I looked at you and said, I'm going to be real mad if the scene that you thought it was from doesn't sound like that at all, and you're like, you're going to be real mad. And then it wasn't.
It sounds like he goes, "ge."
No, he goes, "ah."
That's yeah. That's totally different than "ge."
No, but that's not what he says. He thinks the
what
part
is this
where...
fucking... Whose line is it anyway? Jesus Christ.
The part where Palpatine meets Yoda in the duel while still in his chambers.
Before they go into, like, the seventh chamber proper.
There's a part where he goes, ah.
there's
man.
a guy in there.
No, there is not a gay. There is no gay.
I
You're
will
nuts.
dispute that any day.
Ben,
I thought it would take us like another 20 years to get to the point where the podcast was this, but it's here. Here we are.
And
at one point,
this was our
Josh,
in-joke. This was our group in-joke.
At one point, Josh puts the gif of Palpatine in the chair going, "Geh," and I sat there and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to be in the closet about my geh for the rest of the podcast. Yeah, I know, and that's when I made the decision that I cannot. Josh, this is the reason why I made the decision that day that I should have stuck by, of never coming out about which geh I thought we were discussing.
I'm not mad, I'm just sad.
Because I have caused a rift in this family, and I'm not happy about it.
Not mad, I'm just sad.
I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
I'll say publicly, my notes make no fucking sense this week because I was unable to stop shitposting with Ben while we watched it to properly make notes. So I had a great fucking watch.
I'm just gonna start digging into this book.
Yes, please. Thank you.
I'm honestly, I don't even know where I am in the story on these notes, because what I do is I have the audiobook going in one tab on my phone, and I just tab over to my notepad and I just take notes as it's going, so they're pretty much sequential, except there's a few I threw in just randomly. Let's go with this one. Oh, so there's a point in the book where Anakin's talking about his visions, and he's told that his visions never contain any metaphors, when literally in the last book there was a whole like trippy sequence where his mom's like made of glass and she's like shattering.
Yeah.
Basically a metaphor.
Yeah, like that was weird, a weird thing to say, because like that was the most batshit thing I've heard in regards to that book. I mean, no, that would be incorrect. It was not the most batshit thing I heard, but it was like the only cool thing to come out of the R.A. Salvatore Attack of the Clones thing. And they just ignored it in this novel, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it was basically just like, basically Anakin's, I think he was actually talking to Padme, and he's explaining, I had a vision about you dying, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, maybe it's a metaphor for something else. And he's like, no, I don't have metaphors in my dreams.
I can't have metaphors in my dreams. They all come through on a PSP screen. There's no way for me to possibly...
Oh. And my favorite, Anakin is such a fuck in this book. So there's the line right after he's promoted onto the council, and he starts like throwing a hissy fit. And Mace, I'm not here today. And Mace Windu looks at him and says, "Take a seat, young Skywalker." Anakin deadass looks Mace Windu in the fucking eye and says, "Maybe I'll take yours." And then he goes, "Try to vapad this, you," and then Obi-Wan makes him sit down.
Wait, hold on.
I thought this was an internal monologue at first. But the book continues.
Look at Mace Windu and say, "Try to vapad this, you motherfucker." Is that what you're saying?
No, he just cuts him off at you, and then Obi-Wan inserts himself.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's one of the... I really wish that was in the movie. That's fucking incredible.
I knew that I'll take yours was a line from the book. I didn't know it turned into that.
It's like, I just see him fucking cross-chopping while he says that. Vapad this. Like... That's fucking incredible.
Oh my god.
I'd like to point out, Ben very seriously looked at me while we were watching this movie and said, "Yo, Uda." Like the Uwu.
Yo, Oda.
Just with the Uwu face. Yeah. I questioned the entire podcast in that moment.
Okay, that's because you looked at me and Yoda said something weird, and you started doing Yoda, but like a baby voice, like an ooh-woo voice.
Oh, I can't do Yoda. That's what it was. It wasn't I was doing Yoda in a baby voice. It said I can't do Yoda.
Oh.
Speaking of, one of my favorite anecdotes to come out of the entire watch with you was you pitching the idea that Yoda just keeps a youngling with him at all times.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry,
and you come off with the line, and I wrote it down word for word. Afraid of losing someone, Master Anakin is. How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
So, I'm convinced that after the whole Obi-Wan thing, where Yoda shits all over Obi-Wan via a child, that Yoda just keeps younglings with him to show other Jedi how much of a fucking idiot they're being.
It was like we talked about it for a really long time about Yoda like in the middle of this scene with Anakin turning to a child and like asking him really deadpan about what the child thinks about fearing of the loss of a loved one and what they should do. It was fucking incredible.
Like they're in the dark meditation room on the meditation chairs, and there's like the close-up shots, and then it just pans out, and there's the same fucking youngling just standing there.
It's pretty good.
So we get a whole section of Dooku with Palpatine before the Jedi arrive in this book, in the very beginning, during the Battle of Coruscant. And Palpatine very explicitly tells Dooku like 3 times that he must kill Obi-Wan in this duel. And then that fails, obviously.
Somehow.
So the ship starts blowing up. There's the whole like Palpatine really tries to like get Anakin to just leave Obi-Wan the fuck behind then. And then
to be fair to Palpatine, it's incredible that he's still walking, considering that platform lands on his legs and slides him across the floor.
Yeah, like his fucking legs should be crushed. Dooku did a great job. Like, I don't know. What's like, an act of more? Fucking God?
Yeah, what do you want him to do? Shoot him into fucking space or some shit? Like, what do you...
I'm convinced Obi-Wan is reluctantly indestructible.
Yeah, it's just Obi-Wan sitting there staring off into space like, just let me die. Just let me die. That's why he looks so happy when Vader kills him in fucking A New Hope.
Yes, finally.
Finally, death.
I want to say publicly, when we watched that scene, I said to Ben when he brought it up, I'm like, no, I just think he wants to die whenever he's in a spaceship because he doesn't want to be there. And then by the end of that opening space fucking dogfight, I immediately said, no, I think he just wants to die. I think Chris is right.
No, Obi-Wan just has a death wish.
Obi-Wan is tired of living.
They're during what I call Turbolift Shenanigans Part 2. Because Part 1's before they get to the duel, when they're going into the turbolifts and like all that horse shit with getting R2 to move the elevators. And then Part 2 is when the ship's fucking killing itself and they're trying to like walk horizontally on the vert or whatever. There's the part where Anakin, the scene's set a little differently. So when Anakin still has Obi-Wan unconscious and they're walking up the elevator shaft and it starts like righting itself and Anakin grabs the rope, Obi-Wan is like in Anakin's hand and Palpatine is hanging onto Obi-Wan's foot. And Palpatine is trying to convince Anakin to drop Obi-Wan so he can help Palpatine up.
Okay, this brings up a point that I had during the podcast. You know how we've talked about how fucking in-depth and can go wrong at any moment all of Palpatine's plans are?
Yeah.
I legitimately, wholeheartedly now believe that Palpatine puts himself in situations where the plans could fail because it's the only excitement he has left in life. If you watch him as that ship is spiraling towards Coruscant, legitimately he has the face of someone that's like, oh, I'm in over my head here. I didn't plan for this. I think Sheev Palpatine, which we have not talked enough about how his first name is Sheev.
Sheev?
I think Sheev Palpatine has a kink in regards to putting himself in mortal danger when the stakes are incredibly high.
How many times are we gonna fucking allude to Palpatine's sex life in one way or another? We need to stop. How many is this now? I don't want to hear about Palpatine's kinks.
So in that same scene I was just describing, there's an entire paragraph dedicated to Obi-Wan waking up and being greeted first thing with Anakin's butt.
What?
It's
Wait.
like, the book describes Obi-Wan finally regains consciousness and sees something quite like Anakin's butt. He's not sure because he's never seen Anakin's butt at quite this angle, quite this close up. But he's fairly certain it must be Anakin's butt.
All right, who wrote this book?
What?
Who wrote this book? I need to know who's responsible for this.
Let me double check.
What the fuck?
So
Come on.
whoever did is obviously an Obi-Kin shipper, obviously.
Like, who fucking... You're telling me George Lucas, who back then had to okay everything with a red pen, is fucking reading this book and goes,
I don't think for a second he read that book. I don't believe it for a second.
I mean, he was pretty fucking hands-on. He was pretty, like, manically hands-on
Stover,
back in
I
the day.
appreciate that you spoke for an entire generation of Anakin Obi-Wan shippers, but also, what the fuck?
I have to dig up which note was about Anakin's butt and cross it off my list. Oh, speaking of butts.
That's a hell of a lead-in.
During the Magna Guard fight, the Magna Guards apparently can talk. And a Magna Guard threatens Obi-Wan with, and I quote, something regarding its staff and one of his body cavities.
Whoa.
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 Whoa. Okay.
And that made me uncomfortably laugh.
Hold on. I'm having I'm starting to have FOMO because I missed the watch along. Did you all write an episode of Downtime Darth without me?
No,
is that
not at
what
all.
this is?
No,
right?
this is from the book.
And a Magna Guard trying to shove its staff up Obi-Wan's ass.
What? Would never, ever, ever pitch any of our various Disney Plus shows, Disney Plus $7.99 in the biz without you. That is a three of us thing.
Trying to figure out if I'm being worked right now. There's no way this is fucking real.
This was in the book.
Both of those things happened in an official show.
Hey, you have to take Ben's word because he would not tell me anything in the book, and I insisted he didn't.
This is absurd.
Also, so Anakin is fighting a Magna Guard that has no legs. At some point during the fight, he cuts off the Magna Guard's legs, and it's just like fucking Monty Python Dark Knight fighting him.
That's incredible.
Oh my god.
Do you want to know?
This book was a fucking trip.
I'm gonna have to read this stupid fucking book, aren't I?
I wouldn't advise it because you, as Ben will account, when you're reading that book, it feels like you're reading a trilogy, and the trilogy is not 1, 2, and 3. The trilogy is 2 books that are entirely separate.
Yeah, it was kind of odd because I could subtly tell that it was a part of a trilogy. If Josh didn't tell me it was a part of a trilogy, I'd be able to tell that there was other stuff definitely directly leading to it.
There's a book before it called Labyrinth of Evil, and it's basically the tale of what happens on Cato Nemoidia.
Yes, and they reference Cato Pneumonia a lot.
And there's a book right after it called The Rise of Darth Vader or something like that, and it's basically about Darth Vader's first days as Vader, and him shutting down the droid factories.
This suit beeps and I don't know why.
That sounded like The start of a new metal song.
We gotta form a band now just so we can have one song called This Suit Beeps and I Don't Know Why.
Oh,
God. I don't like hard I try.
I don't like when music gets brought up on this fucking podcast because I'm pretty hands off with the production process, but that's
Chris.
Yeah, that's the one thing I have to do.
I would say this book is worth it because Obi-Wan becomes a god.
What?
Obi-Wan becomes omniscient and omnipresent.
What?
So Grievous brings the Jedi into the bridge, and the whole time he's bragging about how he's gonna murder the shit out of them and execute them in front of the Chancellor. And the whole time Obi-Wan's like standing there meditating, and there's like a whole paragraph where it's like Obi-Wan opens himself to the Force and he says he becomes everything and everything becomes him. And he is R2-D2 and R2-D2 is General Grievous and General Grievous is Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan is his lightsaber. And it does that for like 5 minutes.
The first thing I was going to say is maybe that's why the ship takes a fucking swan dive onto the planet because he wanted to die like Obi-Wan. And now I have to say it sounds like one of those fucking ridiculous YouTube videos where they edit over hello there with Obi-Wan interacting with Obi-Wan, so he jumps down and says hello there, and then he turns around, and rather than Grievous standing there, it's Obi-Wan saying hello there.
Hello there. Yeah, but so like R2-D2, they don't give him a signal. Like Obi-Wan just like is the Force and like commands R2-D2 to like go ape shit like he does. It was a fucking time. I was there for it though. It was great.
So Obi-Wan, for some reason, in like the beginning of the book, seemingly the very beginning of the book, apparently briefly becomes the strongest Jedi to ever exist.
Yeah.
And then that just goes away. To a point where a Magna Guard is threatening to shove a rod up his ass.
Chris, welcome to like 2 days after we recorded last week for me.
It's happening. I don't get it.
Anakin's plan for getting out of the Ray shield. I know I'm working backwards here, but Anakin's plan for getting out of the Ray shield is better than it was in the movie.
You mean no plan?
In the movie, he was like, my plan is we'll wait for R2. In the book, when Obi-Wan asks him, well, what the fuck is your plan now? He simply says, we'll wait. They're only gonna send B-1 battle droids to get us, and we'll just kill them.
That's the dumbest thing.
This was all the opening of this book.
Oh my god.
I remember I've read this book before. I remember none of this. None of it. It's been like a decade and a half, but I still remember none of it.
When Obi-Wan goes to Utapau, he meets the Utapau Chancellor Chairman person. Literally how I have him referred to in my notes.
He is the most delightful actor you will ever meet.
I love him.
In the special features, he is like in character. He's talking about his character. He's talking about the character's wants and needs. He's talking about his fucking drive. He's so excited to be in costume. Like, there's nobody that was as excited and ready to act in character in these Star Wars movies than that guy, and I appreciate him tremendously. Go ahead.
So this character, Obi-Wan rolls up, and he's all like, I need fuel and a place to stay. And he, like, creeps in close. He's like, the Separatists are here. And he's like, yes, I will be on my way shortly. I just need fuel. And he's like, no, like, seriously, send help. And he's just like, Obi-Wan keeps trying to play this off, and he's like, no, like, please, help. And he, like, doesn't catch on whatsoever. It just made me so fucking happy.
It's like, oh, yes, the Utapau tradition of just Joshing with the Jedi. Oh, very funny, Mr. Udapow. Oh, yes.
They have hostages, Obi-Wan. Send help. They have my wife and child. Oh, wonderful weather we're having.
You're not gonna get me that easily. It's like they told me they'd kill a hostage for every minute. I don't bring them what they want.
Do you see the people working on your ship? They didn't always look like that. Help us, please.
Oh my God, the one guy, Josh pointed this out. The one guy working on the ship, Josh goes, oh my God, he just did finger guns at the other guy. And I was like, no, you're so full of shit. And we rewound it. The logical part of me wants to say he's giving a thumbs up because his hands are facing away, so all you see are the thumbs. But the way he like moves his hands, he's definitely doing finger guns.
I don't know the name of the smaller race that lives on Utapau. But like his entire body goes back, like his back is to the camera, so we'll never know for sure.
They are, I believe, the technical term is they're Uda small.
God damn it, Chris. But anyway, this guy, as Obi-Wan turns around,
they're
and heads
Utai.
for the ship, what?
Utai.
Utai. This individual, as Obi-Wan starts to turn around and head for the ship, essentially moves their arm back and just kind of points, and it looks like a finger gun. It looks so much like a finger gun to one of their buddies. But there's no way to tell because all you see is the thumb up. So at the very least, this individual gave a really excited thumbs up in a Star Wars movie, and I'm so thrilled about it.
Oh, I forgot I had on my notes something to piggyback off of Obi-Wan's omnipotence. My note is, and I quote, Grievous actually gets spooky close to straight up executing Anakin and Obi-Wan, but Obi ends up using his god omnipotence to fuck up Grievous's hand and get their sabers back.
So, like, is there an explanation when the omnipotence goes away?
It just kind of stops.
Because that seems like a pretty big deal.
Returns to real space.
His Bruce Almighty deal all of a sudden ended, and now he can go about being Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Like, I would have liked the B plot for the rest of the book where Obi-Wan's severely depressed because he's like, well, for a moment I was a god, and now I'm just
I am
Obi-Wan.
but a mortal.
I am but a mortal with beautiful flowing hair.
Oh my God.
Looking suspiciously like Jesus. Oh my God, Obi-Wan's Jesus. There we go, confirmed. Finally.
I'd like to read off the 2 notes that I have left from the watch because I don't know what the fuck they mean.
Okay.
The first one is R2 hides behind half a dick. I don't know what that means.
That was so in the part where which scene was it? There is R2's like trying to duck behind, or no, it was in the beginning when R2's in the hangar of the Separatist ship, and he's trying to hide from the B2 battle droids.
Oh yeah.
And there's a crate. There's like 3 crates set out, and it looks like a dick.
It looks like a dick.
So Josh just looks at me. He goes, "R2's hiding behind a dick," and I was like, "What?"
And the other note that I have left is in all caps, repulsor lift droid! I don't know what that means either.
There is a droid that's like a forklift kind of thing. So it's got like these 2 forks on the bottom and like 2 arms out on the side. Yeah, and so Josh is like, why the fuck is that bottom there? And I'm like, what do you mean?
Like
he's like
a half a tripod that is meant to keep this thing up, but it's only like 1 fucking leg that goes out behind it, and I couldn't figure out why it had it, because there's 2 explanations. One, it's repulsor lift, and it's being held up into the air in order to keep it up, but then why does it have this like spinny fucking tripod wheel in the back that would absolutely not hold it up? And 2, the other explanation is that that's somehow holding it up, and that defies fucking physics to an extent I can't even imagine.
All right, let's go to we got the SRT autonomous short range transport.
Oh God, I have regrets.
It was created by No, this is not the right
I mean,
thing.
What are we doing?
Well, what I learned from this watch is that I should not be trusted to take notes while someone is in the room with me, because none of my notes make sense.
Yes, of course. Canon. No, this is the one that, like, fucks up C-3PO in the droid factory. I can't find the other one.
Sure, I definitely remember anything that happened in the droid factory.
That's fair.
I remember the sequence of events in the droid factory. I don't know what the fuck was in there because it's just all CGI nonsense.
Oh, Anakin gave me some fucking vibes that I did not like in this book.
Is this like creeper vibes? Because in which case Anakin always does that, or is it like Boss Nass vibes?
It's like overprotective significant other vibes.
Well, I mean that's in the movie too.
Basically, so when Anakin returns from flying half a ship now, he's walking by all the politicians and like he finally goes over. Padme's actually in like a whole side room. She's not just like kind of standing out in the middle of where everyone could see her but somehow doesn't. And so Anakin goes to her. C-3PO like tells him like, "Hey, by the way, Padme is totally not over in that room waiting for you." And he like senses the presence of someone else, which is their unborn children, and senses her like feelings about being pregnant and totally misreads them as someone else being in her life significantly, and gets like insanely jealous.
Okay.
And it gave me some flashbacks.
There's some more to this though, because while we were sitting there watching the movie, you implied that there was Obi-Wan was in a love triangle with them.
At one point, this is when everything's coming to a climax with Palpatine, the Jedi almost starting to get ready to confront Palpatine, and when Obi-Wan goes to see Padme, there's a line in the movie where he says, Anakin says, "Obi-Wan's been here, hasn't he?" We get to see the scene where Obi-Wan was there asking about Anakin.
On his PSP?
Yes.
So sick of this PSP.
And so Obi-Wan's like goes to Padme and like, "Hey, I'm worried about Anakin. Is he okay? He's not being evil, is he?" And she's like, "Nah." The whole reason Anakin goes is because Palpatine said that he heard a rumor that Obi-Wan was going to Padme in the wee hours of the morning. And Palpatine pretty much gaslights Anakin into thinking fucking Obi-Wan is sleeping with Padme.
I mean, all of this is implied in the movie, but not with Palpatine involved.
Yeah.
But
Anakin, you didn't hear it from me, but Obi-Wan be moving in on your girl.
I don't know why I'm making him a pirate.
Arr, Anakin. Arr, Anakin. Obi-Wan be moving in on your lass. Ye be needing to deal with that.
Ye be making him walk the plank.
I'll let ye be dealing with it how you shall, but if you need him to walk the plank, I can take care of that.
God.
Palpatine Barbosa. Oh, it's all Disney now.
well, I never thought I'd use that image again, but I guess it's coming back.
Disney.
Oh my god.
It's just
I had
A new
they
character.
start coming and they don't stop coming.
Yeah, I had something to pivot to here, but Pirate Palps really
Pirate.
Pirate Palpatine is my new character. Pirate Palps.
Now, at the table read, you're not allowed to play Palpatine anymore, Ben, because it has to be Chris doing Pirate Palps.
I was so happy.
Arr, Mace, you don't understand. I be having unlimited power. Arr, Mace,
my God.
you don't understand. I am the Senate. I be the Senate. I be the Senate. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Garr. I have a note that's in all caps, and it was a realization I had like 80% of the way through this book. It just says, and in all caps, oh my god, this whole book is just an episode of That's So Raven cranked up to 11. Because the entire premise is Anakin has a premonition of his wife dying.
Oh my god.
So he does all this shit to try and keep his wife from dying that ends up letting his wife die.
I am so excited.
That's so Raven. Where she had a vision of her wife dying.
I am so happy that Josh now has to do a That's So Anakin Photoshop.
That's so Raven image. This is the second time I've done it.
I am so excited for That's So Anakin to be a thing.
That's so Hoogans and that's so Anakin.
Oh god, look at it. It's beautiful. I'm just saying look at it because I imagine if you're watching the YouTube copy, you're looking at it right now. There it is. It's beautiful. Look at it.
A couple of fun little mentions in this book. Bill Iblis is mentioned, who's a prominent senator in the original Thrawn trilogy.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I thought was cool. He's like Corellian. He gets in real cool with Han.
I was about to sarcastically say sure, but I do realize.
I slightly moved my headset. What was that name?
Bill Iblis?
I thought you said Michael Chiklis. I was like, what?
No, Bill Iblis
like
is the
my
one.
Headphones back on. I was like, what?
Bill Iblis is the person who discovered the Katana fleet and kept portions of it.
Yeah.
Asajj Ventress is mentioned by name.
Oh, nice.
Huh?
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I could.
I thought you said the fuck is this, and I'm like Asajj Ventress.
No, I said nice. I always enjoy more Asajj Ventress when we get it.
Mother fucking Dirge is mentioned by name.
Fuck yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they mention how they narrowly dodged Dirge by throwing him into a sun.
Interesting.
I feel like
Which those are all things that like, well, not so much the Bill Iblis line, but like those two mentions are what kind of clued me into like this is a direct sequel to something.
I feel like Dirge was in Labyrinth of Evil. I'm having trouble remembering both because I'm trying to Google it right now and I'm trying to get the image of fucking Michael Chiklis being a fucking senator in Star Wars out of my head. Just like the fucking Thing is an entire race of aliens in Star Wars.
My God.
Oh my god.
No, I don't think Dirge is in that book.
This podcast has gone too far.
Wow, is that your line?
I don't know what my line is anymore. This episode's been filled with lines. There's so many lines.
Yeah, I can't find Labyrinth of Evil on his Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I can't either.
Man,
but I feel
these these original trilogy novelizations are gonna be a ride. I can feel it already.
On that note, General Grievous doesn't breathe in the book.
That's weird.
He doesn't cough because apparently he doesn't have lungs. Part of his like mechanics like just ambiently draws oxygen into his blood.
So that sounds like we didn't know what General Grievous was going to end up being until we got a voice actor. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I still thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh, it's a cool idea, but it very much describes how Revenge of the Sith novelization had to deal with all of George's rewrite bullshit.
All of George's bullshit. On a similar note, there's sections about General Grievous where the book just turns into like a step-by-step how to murder a Jedi. Like the book literally stops and narrates at you, this is how you trap a Jedi. And it goes step by step of how they got Obi-Wan to Utapau. And if you want to kill a Jedi, it's better to just use someone else. That way the Jedi can't kill you when they eventually get there.
All right, I'm going to teach you how to kill Shaggy the Jedi Knight. This is Grievous's handbook of
leave Shaggy alone.
Shaggy is his real name?
Yeah. That's his actual Legend's name, Shaggy.
That's fucking brilliant. I forgot.
I will link you the Wikipedia.
No, I believe you because I remember it being a thing. I'm gonna say this now because I can't believe it's taken this long for me to mention it, and I accidentally just scrolled past it. The deleted scenes for the prequel trilogy, the divider between each scene, if you don't watch it with director's commentary, is written in Comic Sans.
Oh, I love it. I am a major supporter of Comic Sans.
You shouldn't be.
I am, though. There's a lot of deleted scenes in here that I very much enjoyed. There's all that stuff that you talked about, Josh, with Bail Organa.
Mm-hmm.
They have I don't know if this was in the deleted scene, they have the petition of like 2,000 senators who signed this petition.
That's the last deleted scene in the series of Rebellion creation deleted scenes.
Okay, they actually present this petition to Palpatine.
In the movie. In the movie, deleted scenes, that happens.
Mm-hmm. And there's 2,000 senators who signed this petition to basically try and ensure that Palpatine would lay down his powers once the Clone Wars end. And he basically, in his head, marks them all as traitors.
Yeah.
And then tells Anakin, hey, all these people are traitors, even your wife.
Well,
which doesn't help him when he's like, oh, hey, Obi-Wan might be sleeping with my wife.
Is Anakin in the room?
No.
He is in the deleted scene.
Or no. He might be. I might be.
He is like...
I can't... It's like, a little fuzzy.
He's like awkwardly standing guard beside Palpatine in the deleted scene, and it's the weirdest thing. Because Anakin...
he's like kind of behind him.
Anakin's just standing there broodingly while his wife presents her life's work before Palpatine. It's the weirdest thing. I feel like Anakin standing brutally is just like the prequels.
I'll do weird Wikipedia after this, because I'm about to get fired the fuck up. This week, today is February 12th of 2021.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, fucking 6 weeks ago.
Continuing this we can't get our dates right with Valentine's Day bit.
I forgot that was a bit. I'm sorry, okay? I corrected myself in the video.
This week has been fun.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically about something that I specifically requested to talk about, because I have some certain feelings about this as a person who is myself. A Ben who happens to be Ben, if you will. Gina Carano. I know names. This sack of person.
That's a really good descriptor.
Good.
Was fired recently. Was it yesterday, day before? From Lucasfilm. For certain comments she made. I completely agree with this course of action they've taken.
I mean, to be fair,
I think a lot more Star Wars fans should completely agree with this course of action they've taken, considering this is an entire franchise built upon fighting fucking supremacy and fascism.
Mm-hmm. I would be concerned if anyone listening to this podcast would disagree with this firing.
Fucking, okay, so for clarity, I don't really care who knows. I was raised Jewish. I have Jewish blood in me. The fact that somebody is willing to compare... Alright, let me preface, I am in no way a fan of the current state of politics in the Americas currently. This system is fucked. But you cannot compare the current political state of the United States of America to the pre-Holocaust pogroms in goddamn Germany. Because I'm sorry, the victims of those pogroms don't fucking deserve that. And your fucking victim complex doesn't fucking deserve that.
Especially when your entire argument is when your shitty political belief system that revolves around hatred of people is being compared to the shitty treatment of those same people. Absolutely unacceptable.
But I'm done. That's
It's a weird catch-all where like Gina Carano, she's one of those people where it's like I feel like a lot, and again, I by no means am defending Gina Carano. I want to make that very clear because I think what I'm about to say could be misconstrued as that she's one of those people where it feels like originally it totally ended in a very purposeful place. It feels like at first she fucked up, and then instead of apologizing like a normal person would, just double down and double down and double down.
Yeah.
And then everyone forgot about that situation. And then this whole new one, this one's completely without an explanation or forgiveness. But like,
I don't follow a lot of personalities, but so a lot of the stuff that she's been up to is news to me. But this all started because of the Twitter shit, right?
Yeah. So she had she had like a whole thing where she got into it with people about like, putting pronouns in Twitter bios and like, so it was transphobic shit where she was just being an asshole, and people tried to like explain to her like, hey, this is why we do this. And she then decided to mock that.
Yeah, she did she put like beep bop or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
And
so and that's what I'm talking
super
about.
Insensitive.
Like,
super.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, could have started in a place of not understanding and learning from it, but instead it started as, I don't understand this, I'm gonna make fun of it, and then when you try to explain it to me, I'm gonna double down and make fun of it more.
And it just kind of built until we're comparing political ideologies to Jews and Nazis.
Well, and that defense came after she posted some fucking anti-Semitic memes, which people called her out on, and then she began comparing the current political climate to pre-Nazi Germany.
Yeah, she basically went from one fucking bigoted statement and just ran the goddamn gambit. None of which is fucking acceptable, but it took an all new extreme.
Yeah. This yeah, it's pretty fucking dumb. It's pretty fucking dumb.
I had the brilliant fucking idea yesterday of going on Facebook, which most people know. I don't frequent Facebook, as I used to be on Facebook all the time. I just kind of go on once in a while now. For some reason, I thought it'd be a good idea to go on to, of all places, I just made a Twitter, and I thought I'd go on Facebook yesterday because I'm an idiot. And there was obviously I follow a lot of Star Wars pages because Star Wars is what I do, obviously. And the toxicity I saw was just insane. Like, there were people sharing Ben Shapiro videos.
Speaking
of toxic.
Yeah.
Speaking of, she's working with Ben Shapiro now, so it just shows
she
how much.
Announced that, which I mean, it finally shows what I've been saying for years about Ben Shapiro, because we try to avoid. We have made a concerted effort to try to avoid doing politics here, because we're just here to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah,
and to make it clear,
as long as politics don't intersect with Star Wars, we try to just separate them. But at this point, with this event, it's so
this one we kind of had to.
Yeah.
It comes down to, we want this to be like the only suffering that should be happening on this show as far as topics should be our suffering, because we did a stupid podcast. But this was so entwined with Star Wars that we had to fucking say something, because this fucking idiot.
That being said, buckle up, we might be here a while. So I don't know about Ben so much, but I know Josh and I are pretty big political people in general, and part of the reason we don't want to talk about politics on the Star Wars show is because we do it fucking daily anyway. So
I don't follow politics as close as I should, but when I start to hear about a situation, I tend to do some digging and tell people they're idiots if they actively ignore it.
Yep. I mean, I've been saying for years, Ben Shapiro is just a fucking grifter who
oh my god,
sucks the dick of all the people who would gladly throw him aside and make fun of him to make money. You know,
If there's
he
one,
caters to a bunch of fucking anti-Semitic people because it makes him money. So
if
it didn't
there's
surprise me at all.
one internet personality that I absolutely hate, it's Ben motherfucking Shapiro.
Which, hilariously, and you can't really find it anymore, unfortunately, because it's buried, but I'm sure the stuff's going to start coming out again, and I'm excited for when it does. I unfortunately follow a lot of Ben Shapiro stuff, because, you know, I believe in the whole know your enemy thing, and I like to pay attention to every side of every argument and everything, so I like to keep myself informed.
Oh, God, you're right, but I'm sorry.
But I remember years ago when The Mandalorian first happened, a lot of people in conservative media, Ben Shapiro included, were talking a bunch of shit about Gina Carano.
Yeah,
and
really?
How they're trying to, this is what the liberals want. They want, imagine if in Die Hard a big tough woman showed up John McClane and did all the cool stuff. That's what they don't want, princesses and this and that. They want tough gender non-conforming women. But now she's their fucking hero. And
yeah, because she conforms to their fucking ideology.
Yeah.
Let's be 100% honest. So after all of this happened, she said she was working on a movie with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is a person that tried to go be a screenwriter in Hollywood and decided that he was ostracized because he was a Republican, when in fact he was ostracized because he can't fucking write his way out of a paper bag. So what he's doing now is he's opening a studio to people who believe his shitty beliefs so that he can spread propaganda. And that's exactly what's happening here.
Where their first movie they're making is school shooting Die Hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
I wish I was an alcoholic.
Enough about Ben Shapiro, though, because I refuse to give him any more of a, guy who, we're being canceled and we're being canceled. We don't have a platform yet. You're like one of the top feed pages on Facebook every fucking month.
I got one more thing about Ben motherfucking Shapiro. So I was on this Star Wars meme page that I promptly left today after fucking dropping a ton of fucking memes about Gina being a freaking idiot. And there's all these people sharing this Ben Shapiro clip that I didn't even watch because I didn't need to. Because the less I have to hear his whiny fucking voice, the better for me. But they're all like, look, an actual Jewish guy says she's not. I go, listen here, you fucking idiots. I go, well, I'm a Jewish guy, and I think she's kind of shitty. And the response was, well, I think you're kind of shitty. I'm like, huh. So you only care about a Jewish opinion when you agree with it.
Ben Shapiro, and I can't believe I'm going to finally make this analogy on a public platform, and it's a goddamn Star Wars podcast. Ben Shapiro is what the conservative media uses as it's like the Simba scene from Lion King. It's like they hold him up whenever they need the "we're not anti-Semitic" card. I'm sure, statistically in our audience of 20 people, there's got to be at least one person who's going to be mad about this. So look, if you're mad about this, just think of it this way. This is the best possible way. This is the best way I can think of to explain it in a way to maybe make this make sense. Gina Carano made multiple, we're going to leave the anti-Semitism. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the transphobia.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
she is
equally shit.
She made multiple transphobic comments. Whether they were intentional or not, who's to say? Only she really, I guess, knows that 100%. Like I said, could have just been what she thought was a dumb joke and doubled down on it being an asshole. And she did at one point apologize for it because she talked to Pedro Pascal about it. And she said that they talked, he explained it to her, she understood why people were upset and was going to try to do better. So people were like, oh fuck. She saw the light, we got through to her. Apparently that wasn't the case and that shit kept going on. Pedro Pascal's sister is trans. That's another recent news story. So think about the shit going on behind the scenes that he's dealing with that, knowing that, while dealing with Gina Carano being a fucking raging asshole. You think the star of the show wants to deal with that shit? So who do you think they're going to fire, Pedro Pascal or Gina Carano?
I didn't know all that. Fucking A.
Also, everyone's mad that she got fired. There were apparently no plans for her to do anything else.
She, I saw something. I can't verify the validity of it. There was a rumor of Disney trying to start a show starring her.
They were. What I had read was they were planning on doing a Cara Dune spinoff back before the first fan backlash.
Oh.
And then that first fan backlash shut that down. And there was talks of her possibly appearing on that Rangers of the New Republic show, which is what I think I had mentioned during the emergency broadcast episode.
Where we absolutely also called her out for being a shithead there too.
Yes, we did. I think we called out multiple people not remotely involved with Star Wars. No, I mean, look, people are saying she was fired. To my understanding, what it was, the statement I saw was, look, she is not currently employed by Lucasfilm and likely will not be in the future. So it's not like she got fired. She didn't lose a fucking job. Her job was goddamn done, and they're not using her anymore because she's an asshole, and it sounds like she's a nightmare to work with.
Which, by the way, it should be a point of matter to say, if you are so absolutely shitty that your employer who you don't currently work for, so your ex-employer, has to come out with a statement that says we will never have her work on our projects again just to get her fucking stink off of their product, maybe you're just kind of a shitty person.
That's the thing, like, and you can't be mad about that shit. Like, if you're an asshole and you know you're an asshole, don't be mad when people acknowledge you're an asshole. Like, look, hey, when I go look for another job in the future, I'm not gonna fucking call up Kmart corporate and be like, hey, you want to give me a job referral? I was an asshole at that job. They're not gonna give me a good fucking referral. Why? Like, I know that. I accept that. I move on. Fucking own that shit and go the fuck away.
Bottom line, we at Star Wars Every Week Forever in no way put up with or ignore any kind of racism, transphobia, any kind of hatred whatsoever. And if you support that, well, then you might need to find entertainment elsewhere.
Yeah, man.
No, well, then go fuck yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't want to give these motherfuckers the fucking...
Fuck off. I'd be happy to have no audience sooner than I would any kind of audience that would accept this kind of behavior. Ben, weird Wikipedia.
Can I do one thing first?
Okay.
I have 2 notes specifically for you, Josh.
I love the thought that crossed my head was, can I do one thing first? And then it's just a minute and a half of like, cut something out.
Well, ideally it'd be a minute and a half of pod racing, but we can't do that.
Oh my god, damn it! I thought we were gonna do it.
I have to talk to you, Josh, about a Japor snippet.
Yeah, you threatened to do this when we sat down to watch it. By the way, Chris, I severely missed you while we watched it.
We did. We were thinking of you the whole time.
I got revenge. I got revenge on Ben for all the pod racing mentions. I almost
Josh straight up strangled me.
No, that's untrue. He mentioned pod racing, and I looked at him, and he started to give that grin, and grabbed him by the shoulders and pushed him back on the bed.
I was assaulted. So when Josh and I were watching, there's the whole scene of the funeral, and Josh goes, that fucking Japor snippet, and I look, and he sees the look in my eyes, he goes, save it. So here we are. At some point near the end of the movie, Padme looks at C-3PO and she says, do you know what this is? And she's holding the Japor snippet. And C-3PO says, oh, that's the Japor snippet on Tatooine. It's a token of good fortune. People give it to people they love, blah, blah, blah. That's the one Master Anakin gave you. That's a little beside the point, but I just thought that was cool and wanted to make sure you know about that.
So the novel basically handles my question, and I appreciate that. Thank you, novel. I appreciate that and your rabid Obi-Kin shipping.
But wait, there's more. So, Bail, Obi-Wan, and Yoda are on the Tantive4, and they're yeah, it's the Tantive4, a la the radio show.
I know.
They're trying to figure out what the fuck to do with Padme, who is now dead. And Obi-Wan is like, well, we'll just send her back to Naboo and bury her like traditionally. And Yoda's like, And he's like, what about, what's this thing? And he's like looking at the Japor snippet, and Yoda's like, bury her with it, we will. And that's why she's buried with it, because Yoda was like, let's, fuck it, she always had it, let's just fucking put it in her
How
grave.
would Yoda know that?
He just knows that she had it.
Did he fucking call in a youngling and ask him if he was around Padme enough to know if she fucking
Obi-Wan
always had it? Obi-Wan would have been the one in the room to know. What the fuck, Minch?
Obi-Wan goes, what do we do with this? And Yoda goes, advice on a Japor snippet Master Kenobi needs.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
They also specifically make a note to say that they have to make the body look like it's still pregnant to save the children.
That's gross.
Which was weird and uncomfortable.
Wait, why? Nobody knew she was pregnant. What?
Josh, these are questions I'd rather not.
No,
ask.
but seriously, why did they make the point that they had to make her look pregnant in her fucking coffin if nobody knew she was pregnant?
Well, I mean, when she gets choked out by Anakin, she's got a decent baby bump. Like, if people have seen her, they can tell she's either been smacking down those McDoubles or she's got something going on.
No, but seriously, the fucking entire Senate chamber has fucking floating things that fucking rise up above the stomach to, like, the midsection. Why the fuck? Who would know? Is there, like... This brings me back to another complaint I've had about the prequels. The only way that anyone would know is if there's really fucking disgusting, like, TMZ fucking news feeds on Coruscant. In which case, why the fuck didn't they send news teams to fucking Naboo in Phantom Menace? Weird Wikipedia. Do you have anything else?
Here it is. The exact note was, Padme gives Obi-Wan the Japor snippet in her dying breaths. Yoda decides it must have been important to her and that she should be buried with it.
Well, that's really important context, Ben.
Yeah, I forgot about the whole... Listen, I listened to this like a week ago, and it was 13 and a half hours. There's no high ground, no underestimating power. 2 out of 10. C-3PO doesn't know what pregnancy is.
I mean, it was built by a 9-year-old.
No, like, C-3PO legit is, like, so fucking confused at what's going on with Padme.
I don't...
Your Majesty, what is coming out of you? Oh, God.
Your Majesty.
Like, C-3PO, like, thinks she's just getting real big or something.
Oh, God, there's a person in that person.
He can't
Your Majesty,
figure out
why did you eat a small child? Why did you eat that baby? Why has your stomach not digested the baby, but more importantly, why did you eat that baby? There's 2! You ate 2 babies!
Okay, hold on. I need to talk about the most absolutely batshit thing.
C-3PO was built to not read Sith text, but doesn't understand what childbearing is.
I feel like I'm fucking dissociating. What does this episode become?
Hold on. Chris, wait, this is about to get so batshit. So, Obi-Wan and Yoda go back to the Jedi Temple, right? This is the best part of the whole fucking book. Okay. Obi-Wan and Yoda go back to the Jedi Temple to dismantle the establishment. I can't dismantle the transmission.
The revolution.
That the clones
televised.
And
Just Anakin swinging a lightsaber. Disrespect your surroundings.
So go to the Jedi Temple, and so it cuts to like the perspective, but like the point of view almost is from the clone guards at the temple, and they're sitting there, and the one looks over and goes, "Oh, there's a raggedy old hunchbacked man over there. What the fuck?" And the guy's coming over, and the clone's like, "This is restricted space. Like, get out of here." And the dude's like, "But I have something for you." And the clone's like, "What the fuck, dude?" And he's like, "I have a Jedi." And the clone's like, "Fucking excuse me?" He's like, "Right here." And the hunchback man's holding a bundle. And the clone's like, "You have a baby Jedi." And the dude's like, "Yes." And the clone goes, "How do you know it's a Jedi?" And the baby says, "Because my lightsaber, of course, I
You're
have."
gonna have to repeat that because all I heard is "and the baby says" and I fucking lost it.
And the baby says something. Wait. Here it is. I have the quote. The baby.
I need a minute.
I know the episode except "and the baby says."
I need a fucking
And the baby
minute.
And the baby says, "Because someone erased it from the archives, Master Yoda."
No, the baby says, "My lightsaber, the first clue would be."
They totally buried the lead here because the way you explained it, I thought Yoda was walking up.
No! Obi-Wan is
So you
carrying
said-
Yoda in a bundle.
You described a hunchbacked figure, and I'm like, oh, that's Yoda. So I'm trying to figure out who the fucking baby is.
So, on the way to the temple, somebody devises this batshit plan to get Yoda in a bundle, make Obi-Wan look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and go to the Jedi Temple and tell the guards he has a baby Jedi.
I was so confused because the way you, Chris, was that not just me?
I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm scared.
I thought it was Yoda. And I was
What are they trying to infiltrate? What are they trying to infiltrate with
Jedi
swaddled
Temple.
Yoda?
The Jedi Temple. It's not.
That's what, Josh, that's why when we were watching together and we got
So
to
is
the
this-
Jedi Temple, I just went, "Oh."
This is at the end when they're trying to get back.
When they're trying to get back in the Jedi Temple.
Like
Obi-Wan-
Bail comes back to the planet and they're like, "Oh, there's an emergency thing at Congress. You gotta come see Palpatine talk about his
Ah, yeah,
scar."
that famous, that famous scene. I am the Congress. Just throw the whole episode out. What is this?
Congress.
Throw the whole episode out. What is this?
No, I am the Congress.
Oh my
I
god.
That's an image based on your original description of Yoda walking up to the Jedi Temple with a Jedi baby in his arms because he needed someone to fucking explain to the clone troopers.
And then Yoda wielding a baby fucks up like 5 clone troopers with a baby.
It's like, and it doesn't get any less batshit because in the deleted scenes of the movie,
Oh my god.
the opposite happens where the clone troopers know that Yoda and Obi-Wan is approaching, so they don Jedi robes and
So they
approach
dress like babies?
Yeah, no. No, but like they don Jedi robes and walk up to Yoda and Obi-Wan and they're like, "Oh, Master Yoda," in totally fucking Jango Fett's voice. "Oh, Master Yoda, some of us survived and we're enacting a rebellion." And Yoda's like, "Yeah, I don't believe that for a fucking second."
I love the idea of Tamara Morrison like, "Oh, yeah, I'm a baby." Oh, wow.
God damn it, I have to Photoshop a picture of Tamara Morrison on a baby. Fucking weird Wikipedia bit.
Oh,
Ben, before I have a goddamn aneurysm, weird Wikipedia.
Can you weird Wikipedia? Hold on.
fucking aneurysm. I can't breathe. I can't think.
No. Today on Weird Wikipedia, voice disguiser.
You know, the kind of voice disguiser you use to disguise whatever the baby in Yoda's arms was. And the baby says...
Also known as a voice.
Wow, wow.
I know.
One of those fucking kids' toys. It's like the wheels, and it has, like, you pull the lever and it points at something, and it's like the cow goes moo.
I know I suggested a title before we even did the episode today.
No.
But the episode title has to be "And the Baby Said,"
goes.
right?
Absolutely, and the baby goes.
Voice disguisers.
Fuck voice disguisers.
Also known as a voice scrambler or Vox scrambler, was a device that modulated the wearer's natural voice to prevent.
Throw up. I've been laughing so hard for so long I would have puked. I'm not kidding. This has been Star Wars every week forever. Good night.
I can't fucking breathe.
I'm not kidding. I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
I'm crying.
Oh.
Why is the last thing me failing to say prevent?
The weird Wikipedia bit hit its fucking climax as soon as we made the fucking jokes about it in regard. We were not gonna dig our way out of that hole. I saw an off ramp and I took it.
The only thing that could have made that whole segment better is if we went to weird Wikipedia. And Ben was like, "Oh, it's Orlok again."
Hello, all you beautiful people, and thank you very much for joining us on yet another week of Star Wars Every Week Forever. We upload every Wednesday around noon on various platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, TuneIn, and many others. If you have any friends, companions, people you would like to torture with our presence, feel free to send them our way. You know where to find us. If you would like to interact with the show and the various co-hosts, being me, Josh, and Chris, you can find us quite easily on Twitter at SWEWF. We check there very regularly, so it's easy to get a hold of us. And I hope all of you wonderful people have a glorious rest of your day. Until next we meet, may the Force be with you.